So sitting next to you, or sitting behind you or front, so sitting next to you, you might be sitting next to Black Devil.
It states in Psalm chapter 82, verse 6, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
This is the Elder Raziel with a message for the children of the Elohim. I walked a long journey on the short path where after this non-mind, this mind expands math itself. Came through with the master teacher. Get wealth from what I have to teach you. Not a preacher, the Anunnaki created this creature, fully packed with features. Nuwabu knocking off leeches. Peace of Malachi, Ziyor, Nobatu Ali, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, respect and pay homage from the Anu Try, we hope to see you. We still kicking the flows. All the girls know. Just listen to show so your mind grows toward a genetic explosion. Exile whoever was chosen by deception to sell out Negro, the greatest destruction. Without question, knowledge is a weapon. Like Cain, ain't no half stepping to a greater direction. All right. This is Rit Nalej Radio with your host Mahuta Hidokayu. And what day is it today? Thank you everybody for joining the show. I had to get my volume up on my applause. Okay. Excuse me. So today is the Gregorian day, November 21st, 2022. And the day is year 82, month Shu, which is the fourth month, fourth week. Actually, the 19th day of the fourth month, which is Tashu Ninti. So that's our Nuwabic day. So today, I actually want to get into Columbus. Right? Columbus. Nah, you don't need to see me. Okay. Yes. So we're going to get into Cristofer Columbus. Well, I've been watching a lot of videos lately, and they're saying that Cristofer Columbus could actually be a Moor, which is a misnomer black. Black is just a color. But I know the Caucasoid can't help to be but disrespectful. He's a very disrespectful being. So that's why I just refer to him as Caucasoids from the Caucasus Mountains. So Cristofer Columbus, was he black? Right? Let's read this article from worldlynews.com. So it was written October 10th, 2011 by Frank Lake. All right, so shouts out to Frank Lake. Everybody got English names in America, so we don't know if he was a Moor or a Caucasoid. I have no idea, but it doesn't really matter. What we're interested in is an alternative, honest view of a Caucasoid washed history that I reject totally. If it didn't come from our people, I don't trust. Even if it came from our people, well, let me define our people. Nuwabians or Moors. Even some Moors be having some finicky history. You know what I mean? Like teaching law and all that stuff and getting people locked up and then not supporting them. That's a nigga Moor. Nigga Moor. Yeah, that's kind of like what Taj Tariq Bey does. He gets people locked up and then based off his information, and then there's no support once the brothers get locked up. So I don't support that at all. I don't support that at all. So anyway, let me, I get my rant on. So if you don't like that, you probably shouldn't listen to the show. But I do get my rant on sometimes. So anyway, let's listen to this article. This was from Cambridge, United Kingdom. So this is very important because the history of America known outside of America is extremely different from the history that they teach people in America, right? It's important to recognize that difference. Is somebody washing their foot over here? Oh, that's nasty. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Somebody somebody washing it. I do not need to see you washing your feet over there, player. So we're gonna zoom in so we don't have to see that. Oh, my bad. I just noticed that. That was we don't need to see somebody washing their feet. But anyway, let's read the article. Cambridge, United Kingdom. New research done by the University of Cambridge answers the question, was Christopher Columbus black or more, right? More appropriately, that word should be more. A 500-year mystery has been solved. So this has been going on for 500 years, y'all. 500 years. And you know, people in if it comes down to like the Caucasoid here coming from England, this is their motherland. England is their motherland. Ireland is their motherland. And other people, they're not even considered really white. Italians and Irish. They just made it into the white family. You know. They had to beg the Englishman and lick his balls to become white. I'm straight. So it says a 500-year mystery has been solved, said Wellington Malley, the head of the Cambridge research team. Even though Columbus was born in Genoa and spoke and wrote in Spanish most of his life, we do believe his descendants were from Africa. Okay? This is the head of the Cambridge research team. So this isn't just some Moor walking the streets saying, yeah, Columbus was black. You know, this is, I'm not saying that gives this guy more credibility, but he has more resources to do research on whether Christopher Columbus was a Moor, a mulatto, or a Caucasoid, right? So this is what it is, you know. Now you're gonna hear from I don't know if the guy's a racist Italian from New Jersey, but now you're gonna hear from him saying no way, because he has this thing in his head about. Check this. We're gonna debunk what he says. No way, says Carlo Minucci of Bayonne, New Jersey. Columbus is a full-blooded Italian. Now, what does that mean, a full-blooded Italian? There is no Italian blood. Italian is not a race, right? So this is how confused Carlo Minucci is. Italian's not a race. Italian is a nationality. It's like America. America is a corporate nationality, right? So a lot of people, if you immigrate to this country and get your citizenship, you're an American. If I go to Italy and get as an immigrant and they grant me citizenship, I'm an Italian. So Italian is nationality. Now what this wannabe, well, he is a Caucasoid probably. This Caucasoid, Carlo Minucci, he's trying to hold on to something. Right? He's trying to hold on to something. He doesn't really know what he's saying. He's using words out of context because he doesn't know the denotation of words. And he's just holding on to some kind of like racial identity because and if I ask him to speak Italian, he probably couldn't even speak Italian, right? So he lost his Italian identity. That's gone. You know, you can't be both, right? You can't be an Italian and an American, really. You have to be really one or the other. And so his confusion is played out further in this short paragraph. So let's keep going. He sailed here with his friends, Nina and Pinta, and discovered Hoboken. Not sure where Hoboken is or anything like that. That's the way it went down. So he's speaking as if he was on the ship. He's speaking, that's the way it went. That's what he wants to believe. And that's fine. As Nawabians, we understand people have beliefs, but again, beliefs are not based on fact, and beliefs do not require truth. Beliefs do not require truth. So that's nice. He feels the way he feels. he's not black. That's what he would like to believe, and that's cool. Believe that. Go ahead. This is our day, meaning some kind of racist Caucasoid day. This is our Caucasoid Italian day, right? Same thing Mussolini tried to say Italians are Caucasoids. But that's impossible when you have people in South Italy who are brown skinned even to this day. Sicilians, brown skinned Sicilians. So, I mean, it's what they want to believe, but you got to understand this is an example of Caucasoid history. This is the way they would like their history to be. And so, taking what I just said, right? Taking what I just said and applying that and sounding the alarm, right? Sounding the alarm on this because this is how they would like history to be. And this is what they taught us in schools, what they would like history to be. It's not, well, hold on. I'm about to introduce a new word, right? History, I don't like the word history because it's his story. So I say passox. Passox. Passox means past acts. Past actual facts. So I don't know if that's an English word already, then you better put a new sense to it, because I'm saying passox. Passox means the past actual fact. Because when you say history, again, you're going to a story. Now, if that story is based on facts, that would be great. But the story, his story, the Caucasoid story, is not based on facts. It's based on fantasy and some type of assumed superiority, which I don't see that. I've already explained I don't really see any superiority as them being greater beings, when they'll burn in the sun and get melanoma and die. Why would God put you on the earth where you can't take the sun? We're only the third planet from the sun. We're the third rock from the sun. How come you can't take the sun? And how come your ancestors dwelled in caves to protect themselves from the sun? Right? When Abraham went to the cave and tried to civilize, along with Abdul Qudus, which means the Holy One in Arabiat. And that was Zoser that went up there from Egypt. You know what I mean? Read the Holy Tablets. So this is the way they would like it to be, right? So that, everything's questionable, man. You use Nuwabu, you question everything until you get down to the truth. So let's keep going. Now the narrator saying, "Sorry, Carlo, it's the truth." So this racist ideology that Carlo Minucci had of New Jersey, he's emotional about it, but that's cool as long as you're emotional about the truth. He's not. He said he's not black like you were there. So that's ridiculous. Carlo isn't too smart. So it's the truth. Some of the remains of Christopher Columbus were found in Seville Cathedral in Spain, and some bones were buried in Santo Domingo Cathedral in the Dominican Republic. All of the bones and the remains from both locations have been checked and rechecked. Now, that's funny. A revelation just came to me, a little small one, but nonetheless. Why is this Italian guy vouching for a Spaniard? Why is Carlo Minucci of New Jersey, who's an American, he lost all of his Italian abilities, why is he so adamant about someone from Spain who isn't even from Italy? That's weird. I mean, that's pretty weird that he's trying to connect Italy with Spain when they're two different nationalities. And the Moors from the what 7th century to the 15th century pretty much occupied Italy, Spain, and Portugal. Right. So is it a far fetched that the Moors, were in that part of the world of really Eurasia, right, to say, hey, they were there for 700 years. You don't think they got a little Caucasoid booty? They got a lot of Caucasoid booty according to the history. So that's just a wish, right, from these Caucasoids. It's just a wish that that they they're holding on to these lies, and we got to break their, I don't know what it is. It's not really Passoks. It's their history, right? Which, like I said, which they made up. They just made it up. They just made it up as they went along. So it says Columbus died in 1506. In 1537, the widow of his son Diego was allowed to take the bones of her husband and his father to the Dominican Republic for burial in the Cathedral of Santo Domingo. Right? Not all African Americans were pleased to learn about Columbus's ethnic identity, which is very true. You know what I mean? Columbus, it does. Yeah, you're right. Especially for us indigenous people over here. Now, there's a woman named Chief Warhorse I think she's out of Louisiana, and she's Chata, from the Chata tribe, and she doesn't like Moors. But understand that Moor is a race. It's not a nationality, right? Moor is not a nationality. It's a race. It's a race of people with specific genetic features. So what we're saying here is it doesn't really matter whether he was a Moor or a Caucasoid. He still did some treacherous things. He still did treacherous things. I still don't like him. Right? But the point I'm trying to make here is the race thing of the Caucasoids. It's just and again, this next paragraph is going to talk about these Italians. Now, these Italian Americans are very confused about their identity. This is what America does to people. It confuses their identity. Now, you got an Italian, like Christopher Columbus is not Italian at all. At all. He never spoke Italian. He might have been to Italy. He's not Italian at all. At all. So why are these Italians feeling like they're getting railroaded by saying Christopher Columbus was a Moor? I have no idea. It doesn't even make sense. So these guys are kind of forgetting where they came from. They're still foreigners. It said, next paragraph, fudged about it, says Tony Sinelli of Brooklyn. This ain't right. This is the only Italian day we get. But wait a minute. Columbus is not Italian. Keep that in mind, y'all, when you listen to me speak about this. He's not Italian. So what are these people really trying to say? I think they're really trying to say this is the only Caucasoid day we get. This is the only Caucasoid day we get. Because again, Columbus is not Italian. So these people are defending something which they have no standing in. Very interesting. We get no respect. Next thing you know, they'll be telling us that the Chinese invented pasta. Maybe, Tony Sinelli. Maybe. Are you ready for the truth, Tony Sinelli? At least Caucasoids are not ready for the truth, y'all. Stand up for the truth. The Grand Marshal of this year's Columbus Day Parade, Maria Bartiromo, has been replaced by Beyonce. Native American, we're indifferent to the news. Either way, we get screwed, said Chief Walking Stick, a Navajo Indian. Yes, and yep. I feel the same way as Ani Yui. It doesn't matter, Columbus still screwed us over, whether he was a Moorish Spaniard or a Caucasoid Spaniard. To me, it doesn't really matter. I'm just making this video. I mean, yeah, pretty much this video because it's this race thing that they put in their head, and this is evidence that they don't know what they're talking about, right? So feel better about yourselves, Moors. The facts are here. It's just, like I said, do you want to accept the fact? You are who you are regardless. It doesn't matter who you want to be. You are who you are. Whether you're going to accept who you are, discover who you are, reach your potential, or you're going to accept what they say you are, right? For we battle against not the flesh, but against principalities, right? So what it says, well, whether you are black, which you don't want to be black, you want to be more, right? Italian or just a Columbus lover, get out there and celebrate the day. Wait a minute. Where's my wrong answer? We're not gonna get out there and celebrate the day, right? Especially if it's, I don't even care if Columbus was a Moreno, because we know some more all skin folk and kinfolk, right? Now this is definitely one. So I guess this is pictures or paintings of Columbus right here, right? Because this guy looks like this guy, just in a different pose, and you know what I mean. And it was overimposed on this background picture. So very interesting, man. The Passucks, our Passucks are. Well, I'm not gonna say our. Like I said, the Moors invaded Spain. I don't consider that tribe my people. The Umayyad, I don't consider that my people anyway. Um, so anyway, there's another article by a Moor. Her name is Mariam Aziza Muhammad for Nappy Head Club. And the article is called Black Skin on Black Soil, the Erasure of Black Explorers in the History of the Americas, right? They couldn't have got over here without our race of people, right? I'm not going to say my tribe, I'm not even going to say my people, but we are of the same genetics. So, if you want to say race, that would be appropriate. So this was written November 25th, 2020, right? I actually got this little audible thing here, but I'm going to go ahead and read it for you guys. It says Christopher Columbus is a name that we all know and have known for what seems like far too long. The whitewash, Caucasoid wash, version of history has done him well, painting him as a courageous explorer, brilliant navigator, and overall, the person who discovered what is now America, which we all know is false, right? He only went as far as the Caribbean. Where did they get the name Caribbean from? The Carib tribe, who are also Arawak, which was a Moorish tribe. True history has reared its ugly head and revealed the horrific truth about what Columbus really did. Not only did he fail to discover anything, but he also participated in acts of genocide against the natives of the land. Not only have new developments and research shown us that the land was already occupied when Columbus arrived, but that there are many of black explorers to take note of instead of him. Voyages that took place on the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria were not the remarkable or revolutionary trips that Columbus and his crew thought they were, though history has forgotten many of the people who made notable discoveries and contributions to society. We don't have to. Though the transatlantic slave trade brought many Africans to the New World, many, I don't know how much many is. I've heard figures anywhere from 40 million down to 92,000. They keep revising the number downward, so now they're at 92,000. So, I mean, even 92,000 is a lot, especially back in like 14, 15, 16, and 1700s before they even had the steam engine, right? So 92,000 is a lot. Though the transatlantic slave trade brought many Africans to the New World, it wasn't, See, this is okay. Pause. Hold up. Let me sound a horn. This is the problem with Negroes. We are looking at this new world, right? But I don't consider it new world. I consider this the old world. For us, for the Aniuia, we consider it the old world. We've been here for so long. This is old. We love it that it's old, though. You know what I mean? But for the Negro, uses words like the new world. You're speaking from a Caucasoid point of view, because for them, it was the new world. So, I want to educate the people who listen to this show about tone and an author's tone and the words that they use, right? Like if we go back up to the first paragraph, she says the whitewashed version. So in her mind, she knows that this is not true Pasux, right? The true Pasux, right? And so she understands that they're creating him as a picturing him as some kind of great navigator, which he wasn't. Then she says, true history had reared its ugly head. Now, why would true history have an ugly head? And revealed the horrific truth about, well, okay, that's her. I agree with that. Her opinion, her tone, that she used horrific truth, right? That phrase, horrific truth, about what Columbus really did. And it was horrific. He cut the hands off of Arawak Indians. You know what I mean? Why would true history have an ugly head? That's questionable by the author. Though the transatlantic slave trade brought many Africans to the New World, that was not that would not that would not be the first time Africans' feet touched American soil. Around 1311, 181 years before Columbus, Abu Bakr of the Mali Empire was said to have landed in the Americas, determined to find the limits of the ocean. Bakr abdicated his throne, leaving to his younger brother Mansa Musa, who will go on to be the richest man in history. Mansa Musa. Now let me pause to do a shameless, a shameless pitch here that Melanin Studios, which I'm also affiliated with, Mahuta Hirokayu, we're going to be developing a script to do an animation film on the Moors in Spain, how they took over Spain, how they invaded Spain, from the beginning to the end. Now, if you guys are interested in that project, I will leave a link for those who are interested and those who want to be early investors into this project. But anyway, let's continue. About a century later, Juan Garrido, an African conquistador, explored Africa along with Juan Ponce de Leon, who would later serve as the governor of Puerto Rico. Born in the Kingdom of Congo in 1487, the terms of his freedom are still not completely understood by historians to this day. While some speculate that he had a father back home who sent him to Portugal to get a formal education, others assume that he was a slave who was later set free by his owner. What owner? Right? If he was a slave, what's the owner? Where's the paperwork? Because Portugal did have relations with Morocco and other Northern African nations. That was a fact. That's how the Moors went into Spain, right? Right. And in the movie, that will be revealed. Nevertheless, Garrido made a name for himself as a conquistador throughout his life, searching for gold in several countries, including that of Hispaniola, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Guadalupe, and the Dominican Republic. So that's interesting. There was an African a Moorish, basically, conquistador named Juan Garrido. All right? So then they're not going to tell you about that. And if they do, they're going to try to paint his skin pale. Because that's what they do. Known as the first great African man in America, Estevanico, or Esteban the Moor, was an explorer from Azemmour, Morocco, born in the year 1500. When the Portuguese government took control of his hometown around 1513, Estevanico and several other Moroccan citizens were taken captive and sold into slavery. Estevanico, with his owner, joined the expedition of Florida in 1528, led by Spanish explorer Alvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca, head of the cow. Many years prior to Columbus's arrival in North America, African explorers were not the only sailing across there for discovery purposes, but to trade items in the New World as well. In his 1976 book titled They Came Before Columbus, Ivan Van Sertima details the existence of African people who lived in ancient America. That would be Moorish people that lived in ancient America. He explains that while traveling in Hispaniola, present-day Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Columbus found evidence that Africans had not only been to the land before, but also traded with the natives that lived there. Sertima explains how the natives not only recalled that the people they had traded with had black skin. I don't think anybody has black skin. Probably brown, melanated skin. But also they carried gold-tipped spears with them. In his second voyage, Columbus sent back samples of the spears to find out that they were made of guanin, which is a mix of gold, silver, and copper. It was later found that the guanin had origins in several of the Mande languages in West Africa, including those of Mandingo, Kabunga, Toronka, Kankanka, Bambara, and Vai. Sertima writes that in Columbus's journal, gold is given as Koana, while guanin is recorded as an island where there is much gold. Very interesting. For many decades, the lives and adventures of African explorers and settlers had remained hidden in the shadows, largely unknown due to the lack of evidence as well as the whitewashing of history. But now, thanks to black researchers, I would say Moorish researchers like Ivan Van Sertima and many others, we as a people can live with the knowledge of what those who came before us have done for society. We can now know the truth of our ancestors risked their lives on long voyages and adventures to places to where once considered unknown. Wait a minute, that's false, right? So let's wrong answer, right? Those were not places considered unknown. If she actually read the whole book, Mansa Musa came because he heard stories from his ancestors that there was a land out west. And Mansa Musa was bored. I mean, he ruled the whole kingdom. He was the richest man in the world, a Moor. And so he's like, you know what? I want to take on this voyage and go west where my ancestors went, and I want to go to this new land. So it was not unknown. Again, here goes the sister right here. We're all trying to break out of this system of mental enslavement now. And now it's mental enslavement, but you could tell by the point of view and the perspective of the author, she's not out of mental enslavement. Especially if she's going to a Caucasoid school in Bridgeport, Connecticut, then she's probably at Temple. Temple's supposed to be a black school, but you know what the word black means, and they're not even really teaching indigenous history. They barely started teaching African history. So unfortunately, she fell victim to this black, I guess, self-hatred, right? Like the same guy from the Cherokee Nation said blacks have self-hatred, and I agree with him that they do. So they were not considered unknown, and that's a reason why I study Arabic, inshallah, because if you read in Arabic, there's a lot of information in Arabic about health, about the stars, about the history of our people. Oh, my bad, not our people, but Moorish peoples that lived in that part of the world. Now, some of them might be our people because some Muslims did come over here on voyages and they were captured. as an indentured, forced indentured in servitude, right? Indentured servitude. That's what I'm really trying to say. And so we could have mixed in the indigenous Moors here from the Moors in Nubia, which y'all call Africa, but again, it's we see the struggle here just by the words that she's using, the tone of the article. We can see that she's on her way, but she's not quite there. She's not quite there, and it was not. It was unknown to the Caucasoid, but it was not unknown to people in Mali who heard these stories from Arabs, from Muslims, from Islamians. I call them Islamians from that area. So unknown to who, right? So she's trying to take on the mentality of the Caucasoid, which isn't going to work for her. All right. Now, with these newfound discoveries, we can hold our heads up high knowing that we have always been innovative and adventurous, ready to make strides and push boundaries with hopes of changing the world. Now, that's all an opinion. I mean, it sounds nice. We've always been adventurous. I mean, if you read the book, the first Africans in America, well, first Americans were Africans, which it should title the first Americans were Moors, because anybody could be an African. If I moved to Africa and go, I could be an African. A lot of Caucasoids from Europe moved to Africa, and they're Africans, right? So African is not even a good word to use because it doesn't denote genetics. Instead of mistakenly giving all the credit to Christopher Columbus, as history once did, his story, like I said, not the Passax, or past acts, right? The Passax. His story once did. See, that's his story. You understand? You overstand? I hope that you overstand. That's his story. It ain't got nothing to do with us. We need to tell our story based on Passax, based on real past actual facts, not his story. They're trying to tell Greek myths about Christopher Columbus. That's just what they do. That's part of their culture. That's part of the devilic culture that they manifest. So instead of mistakenly giving all credit to Christopher Columbus, as history once did, we can learn about the explorers and settlers who sailed the seven seas to make black history. Well, I don't know about black history. I know Moorish Passax, but I don't know about black history. So interesting article, you know what I mean? No doubt that that she's trying to tell the Negro or blacks that stop, listening to whitewash history, but at the same time, she's still trying to break out of the spell. You could tell by some of the words like she used, like or unknown to parts of the world, unknown, but unknown considered unknown by who? You have to with Moors, when they start reading articles, I want you to notice the tone that the author takes. Notice the tone and the words that are used. And that will let you know if the person is free or not. That will let you know, because true freedom, people say, "Oh, I can do whatever I want." That's real freedom. That's not freedom, bro. That's just ignorance. Like the universe operates by laws, and so does man. So anyway, I'm going to end the show there. So hopefully everybody enjoyed the show and our perspective on these articles that Christopher Columbus was a Moreno. And Caucasoids didn't like it. Even Caucasoids from a different nationality didn't like it, which is very weird. It's like they lost their own identity. But Moors should not lose their identity. Honor the way of your ancestors. And your ancestors did not say that we had black skin or we're blacks. The ancient Egyptians didn't say, the ancient Tamarans or Egyptians did not say, "Hey, what's up, nigga? what up, black man? They didn't talk like that. So we got a long way to go. We're supposed to be in the seat of power by now because the Caucasoid world is failing, but we're not there yet. So I'm trying to get people to join the United Nawabi Nation of Moors so we can start breeding leaders who can speak their own language and have their own culture. All right. So with that, we're going to end the show. Wadu, Hatu, Hade, Nahub. And until next time, Hatu. Peace.
So sitting next to you, or sitting behind you or front, so sitting next to you, you might be sitting next to a black devil.
It states in Psalms chapter 82, verse 6, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
This is the Elder Raziel with a message for the children of the Elohim. I walked a long journey on the short path. Grafted this non-mind, this mind expands math itself. Came through with the master teacher. Get wealth from what I have to teach you. Not a preacher, the Anunnaki created this creature, fully packed with features. Nuwabu knocking off leeches. Peace to Malachi, Ziyor, Noble to Ali, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Respect and pay homage from the Anu tribe. We hope to see you. We still kicking the flows. All the girls know. Just list the show so your mind grows toward a genetic explosion. X out whoever was chosen by deception to sell out Negro, the greatest destruction. Without question, knowledge is a weapon. Like Cain, ain't no half stepping to a greater direction.